morning. Well, good afternoon, as the case may be. It's September 12th, 2024, and I'm just sitting here warming up my hands, and a few of our friends from Scandinavia have already joined the chat room. Hello, gentlemen. Good to see you. I'm just sitting here trying to break open the old bones. I went to a Dodger game last night, so I'm a little dehydrated and tired. I don't know why. Dodgers won. It was very fun. Cliffhanger of a game till the end. So what I have today is a SoHo. You guys remember the SoHo? I had sold a few of them here on the show already. This one's for sale. It's a very well-functioning one. That's actually the clean side. I just have it turned up enough where you get a little distortion. EL84s break up real nice. And they break up easily. They're like a cheap hooker. They just give it up. That's the clean side. Here's the dirty side. Same riff. I don't have it cranked dirty. Like it's kind of what the level's on 6. I can make it a lot dirtier. Same thing. Good rock and roll rhythm sound. Great little amp. Very fun. And very touch sensitive. I'm playing with my fingers there. Almost gets into like an acoustic guitar quality. Ray Colby, that's right. That's the SoHo tone. Chimey and sparkly. I didn't change anything there, other I went from playing with soft fingers to a pick. It's very touch sensitive amp. Fingers. Pick. It does a lot. It's fun to lamp. It's coming across a little brighter, I think, in my headphones than it is in real life. Let me just pull some of that back, I guess. I'll double check it when we're done, too. Anyway, that's a really nice rock and roll sound. I love it. The SoHo. So the SoHo was technically our third amp we ever did. The first one was the London, of course. And then when we did the London, everybody was like, we want a high-powered London. But the transformer that's in the London, the output transformer, is kind of unique. And it just didn't scale up to double the size. Even the smartest guys in the business I know, like Sergio Hamernick over at Mercury, went, I can't. It has some unique behaviors that just don't scale up to a larger. Sorry, I'm dehydrated from last night's game. I had a lot of Dodger dogs. And works for country as well. That's right, Ray. Yeah, you can play. I've sold a lot of these to Nashville guys. When we first put them out, I could name you 5 or 6 big national Nashville acts using SoHos. Keith Urban's guys had them. The guys in Sugarland had them. Danny Rader, who plays with a lot of people, had one. Jonathan Trebbing with whatchamadoodle. Why can't I name of that band? Gary LaVox is the singer. Ray Don, Joe Don. Rooney is the other guitar player. Why am I blanking on their name? It's been a while. Anyway, I saw a lot of these in Nashville. TJ has one, says, I love mine. Ah, thank you, man. Yeah, it's a versatile little amp. It can be really naughty, too, if you want it to. It's really great. I wish I had some great country licks. I don't. Sorry about it. Need some country tones, though. I just know generic crap like that. I'm not really a country player. I don't want to insult you. I think Gary's guitar player, Andy Wood, needs one. Gary who? I think everybody needs one, if I'm going to be honest, Ray. That's not a self-serving sales statement. No. That's a middle position. This is that Andy Elliott guitar that I love so much. Hum single single. It's middle position Strat pickup. Like I say, it's coming a little sharper and trebly than it is in real life, but might just be the IRs on this UA box that are doing that, because it's not really a spiky amp. Hey, DJ Melkor, bienvenidos. All the way from Caracas, Venezuela. How are you, buddy? I hope things are good there. I know there's a little bit of craziness going on there. Gary LaVox. Rascal Flats. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ray. Yeah, I blank on that name a lot. I got this chord progression in my head now for weeks, right? It's such a great way to demo amps because there's a lot of crazy chords and good note separation. What is it? Oh, I always get this chord messed up. This is just the clean rhythm sound. It shows you that records aren't as dirty as you think they are. You play the same thing on the dirt, right? This is all on a foot switch. There's actually an extra gain switch here on the clean, so when I go back to the clean, it's on a foot switch, but I'm just doing it manually. You can drop the gain on the clean sound. Get a much more controlled clean. So very nice. Oh, something's in my eye. Anyway, you get the idea. There's a little vocabulary here. So on the foot switch, you can drop the gain on the first bit there. Ah, I'm sorry. And get down to this, you know. Kind of sound. I'll never insult you. Ah, Andy Wood is one of my favorite players. Another Sur artist. Besides the incomparable Pete Thorne. Yeah, Pete's amazing. Just standard, you know, good clean sound. Or you can just kick it up a little bit. A lot of times this switch is good, like if you're playing a humbucker or a single coil. You know, regular, this is a very low output humbucker in this guitar, but if you have a stronger one, like a Paul Reed Smith kind of thing, or something that's over 8 or 9K, which is really common. Which is good to be able to turn it down a little bit, get some better cleans. But the clean sound with that down is really nice. That's with a pick, really lightly. Play with my fingers. So now if you're doing a stage rig or in the studio, more than likely you're going to have some form of compression. Hey, Lars, what kind of power tenor do you use? This has master voltage on inside the amp. It's a MOSFET that we use to control the voltage while keeping the heaters up on the tubes. So instead of just dropping it globally like you would do with a, Variac, that actually drops your heater voltage also, which, it's fine. It sounds good, but it does affect the life of the tube quite a bit. You get a thing called cathode stripping, where the cathodes are not getting enough juice from the heaters and they start losing physical material. It does sound cool. That's the Eddie Van Halen thing, but it will strip your tubes. And since good tubes are not that plentiful right now, I don't really recommend doing that. Unless you got a big budget and you can buy NOS tubes all you want. But right now, I'm just plugged into the computer. I'm on a UA aux box. There's no cabinet hooked up to this. I'm playing you an IR right now of a Marshall 412 with a Royer 121 and an SM57 on it. No other effects or anything like that. Ray says, oh, this is good. I want to make a poster out of that. My wife wasn't a fan of my guitar tone before I got the SoHo. That's good. My favorite compliment I get at like trade shows and stuff is the wife will come up to me because they like the look of the amps because they're a little different. The wife will come up to me and say, this is the first amp I let him keep in the house or keep in the living room. I'm like, oh man, thanks. That means a lot. That's good. Mike Campbell thing again. Still not on the dirty channel. Go to the dirty channel. Very dirty. EL84s, right? How'd you go? Anyway, I'm really trying to mimic a song. I'm not good at that, but if you get back down into here, you get into my favorite things. Man, I never get tired of that. So if you're playing stuff that's complex chords, it's important to have an amp that can articulate those notes. And this one does it really well. Doug says she's ringing like a bell. Ah, thank you, man. That's what the SoHo does. It's a very chimey, ringy amp. People will use words that are somewhat correct, like it's very voxy. This is actually more chimey than a Vox. I have a lot of Voxes. I'm a Vox. I think I'm officially a Vox queer. Voxes are amazing. I love Vox amps. This is more Vox. It's capital V, like if they were designing boxes today. And this is like, say, the IR that I'm playing right now is, I think, G12H30s in a Marshall 412. So if I had a good IR of Alnico Blues, it would have a different sound, right? You know what I'm getting? I have this aux box, and I'm getting one of those 2 notes captor boxes where you can, it's got an IR loader in it. So I can play all the IRs that Tom and I made over at Henson and give you a lot. So I spoke with the gentleman over there this week, and boy, what a nice bunch of people. This IR sounds really good. Tom and I made some better ones. But man, you could go to town with this IR right here. I mean, there's other ones in here that are weird cabinets. They have a bunch of effects on them. Like, here, check it out. I forgot what the list is, but it's a lot of stuff. I'll go cycle through them. You can see. And this box actually belongs to Sheryl Crow, so maybe these are IRs they use for the show. I don't know. But let's see. Big Verb. No Big Dirt. I'm not wild about that, to be honest with you. That seems like a 112 cabinet. It's really close mic'd. It's a little muffly sounding for me, but and then whatever this one is. So something weird about this box, I can't get into the software on it. So I'm stuck with whatever IRs were loaded on here when they sent it to me, but this one is a Marshall 412 and it's great. Works for me, huh? Work for you? I hope so. But yeah, the cleans are very fine. Very articulate amp. A little Mick Ronson-ish, yeah. Let's go real dirt, though. Rebel, rebel, what's on your car? Yeah, that's it. It's a 6, isn't it, instead of the suspended? Hey, Axel Inman, what's happening, dude? This segment of the show is brought to you by Titleist. Titleist with their new GT drivers, which they should be sending me one to play here on the show soon. So yeah, what you're hearing is the SoHo. It's stock. We haven't done anything to it. I think we're going to try to modify it a little bit, modernize it just a hair. This is my Andy Elliott Strat, which I cannot recommend a guitar better. Andy Elliott's guitars are so well made. For example, I played this last week, and then I put it in the guitar rack over here. Didn't touch it. I sat here and warmed up for 20 minutes before we went live, and I thought, well, maybe just fine-tune this thing, make sure it was perfectly in tune. So, I don't know why that's funny, Axel. I'm sponsored by Titleist here on the show. It's one of my favorite sponsors. We can do remotes out on the golf course. You know how, like, the Seinfeld thing, comedians in cars drinking coffee, which is one of my favorite shows, especially during lockdown. Hello, Warmer Dom, Better Now Radiology. Okay. Hello, good to see you. Over on YouTube there. Hello. So repeat, you guys. I'm on 4 different things. Now I'm on my page on Facebook. I'm on the 65 amps Facebook page. I am on my YouTube channel and the 65 amps YouTube channel. Hey, Hoss Thompson's back. Sounds chewy and rather lovely. Not sure it needs any updating, to be honest. Yeah, just a couple little things. My level of neurotic, I'm not going to change it. We're just going to polish it a little bit. There's one cap I already know right now I need to change. It's just barking a little too much treble out of one place, and I know where it is, and we can fix that. But anyway, back Axel. So comedians in cars getting coffee. I thought musicians in golf carts maybe drinking beer. It would be a fun show. It's like all the players I know out here play golf. And yeah, that sounds good, doesn't it? We kind of hit that, right? Good question here. Great. There you go. I'm in. Okay, yeah, you can come out. Can you get permission from your boss to do that? Once again, this segment of the show is brought to you by Titleist and the new GT Driver. That's shameless, isn't it, dude? I'm shameless. Anyway, great question here from what looks like to be a radiologist in a veterinary lab. Can you tell me something about the main difference between the SoHo, the Monterey, and the Stone Pony? Yes, absolutely. So they're very similar amps. Shameless. Yeah, totally shameless. Have we met? Anyway, so the SoHo is an EF86, which is one of these guys. There's a nice EF86 right here. An EF86 going into a 12AX7 gain stage, then into a cathode follower, into a half-wave phase inverter. That's the circuit. Not telling any secrets there. There's a whole lot more to it than that. That's just the basic thing. And it goes, the power section is EL84s. The Monterey is pretty much the same preamp, a little bit of tweaky, but nothing major. More just values, not a circuit. Like sometimes we want a little more plate resistance or maybe a little bit bigger cap here and there to let more frequency through or to limit the frequencies. The Monterey goes into 6V6s. That's a very popular amp. And then the most popular one we made out of all 3 of those was the Stone Pony, which is a similar topology, only it goes into 7591s. The only problem was, and don't tell anybody, this is just between you and I, the 7591s went to absolute shit. We had to quit making that amp, which was a real disappointment. It was a very popular amp. I personally loved it. And I got guys, there's people now, if you have a Stone Pony, people pay a lot of money for them. They've become collectible. So one of the things I want to do with this new version of 65 is we know ways to run tubes so they don't blow up. And I've talked to you about it, about, high current, low voltage. I'm getting transformers made to do this. One of the things I want to bring back is the Stone Pony. And then I have some digital things I want to integrate into all this. So that you have one amp that you can sit on your desk and play like this without having to buy a $1,500 box. You can take it to a gig, play it normally if you want, use a load box in it. You can send your sound man an analog signal or a digital signal. A lot of big road acts now are the guys that are mixing the front of house in Pro Tools. No console. They're sitting there with a laptop mixing the whole thing. Yeah, you're right, Hoss. It is a chewy little EL84 booger, isn't it? I love this chord progression. I like that right there. If I had a chorus pedal on this, it'd sound pretty much like Stone Temple Pilots, wouldn't it? Yeah, so Axel, yeah, I'm shameless, but, talk to your boss. We're all good. What was the other Stone Temple Pilots one I was doing? The opening riff to 20th Century Boy. Oh my God. Why am I not hearing it in my head? Crap. I don't have my phone here. I can play it. I just got to hear it again. Hang on a second. Let me look it up on Apple Music. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Hold on. Bow, 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 bow. Is that what I'm looking at? Is that right, Hoss? Right? T-Rex. I love T-Rex. Oh, yeah, that's a doubled guitar, too. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. Again, this is a low output humbucker. I could switch guitars. You want to hear like the Gretsch? Or just a regular old Les Paul? You guys tell me. First answer up here gets it. I've got more traditional Strats. I've got that Les Paul that you guys know, my greeny looking one. And then I've got that really nice Gretsch where TV Jones made me some custom pickups for it. Les Paul it is, says my Titleist sponsor. Shameless the way is. It is a Gibson, so I'll have to tune it for like 30 minutes. And Gretsch too. Well, let's see if we can pull it all off, guys. I like playing both those guitars. Oh. So this particular Les Paul came from my friends in the custom shop. Peter and my wife conspired to get this guitar for me for my 40th birthday, which was 19 years ago, if you can believe that. And it's a great guitar. It is a Gibson. You know, the custom shop ones are great guitars, but if they're made correctly, they don't stay in tune. Right? So, because old Gibsons don't stay in tune. I don't know why that is, but can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, there we go. So give me just a moment. I'll tune it up. These are very similar pickups to what's in that. Oh, look, it's way out of tune. Just been sitting, doing nothing. Probably needs a new set of strings, too. Oh, yeah, there you go. Probably some Big Ben's nut sauce, too. Come on. Oh. Yeah. Don't you have a break the headstock off before it will Do you know how many Memphis amps you made before you had to change the name? Yes, 22. It's 22. We just had a run. Had a run of 25. Yeah, Grovers are good. I like the vintage keys resonate better. The guitar rings better, you know. So give me a minute. Once it settles, it'll start cooperating. As you also know from old Gibsons, it's like you got to earn its trust or something every time. It's like a skittish cat or a dog that's been beaten. Doesn't trust you. Trusted you yesterday, but not today. We're getting there. It's my cousin Nancy. Hey, how are you? Nice long post. Thank you for that. I can't really talk about it here on the show, but yes, very nice. with me, guys. Sorry. And I've had the best luthiers look at this guitar. And they all kind of say the same thing. It's Gibson. It rings really well, though. I'm almost there, I swear. Yeah, there we go. Also, there's the thing with the Gibson, like it has to, like your body temperature makes, they're crazy guitars. I love them, though. Already going out of tune. Go down to the clean sound, see how it does. Go down to the super clean sound. All right, good question here again. Is the high-power SoHo Monterey Stone Pony with the switch set to half exactly the same as the low-powered ones? Circuit-wise it is, but the transformers are different, right? The high-powered setups, they have a bigger power transformer and a bigger output transformer. So the circuit is exactly, excuse me, the circuit is exactly the same. But you are playing through a little different transformers. Side by side, you might notice a very small difference. If you're just playing, you're not going to notice at all. Haas says, yep, it's really weird because generally wood moves laterally or radially. But yeah, all my Gibsons need to be reminded they can stay in tune. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Honestly, for me, all jokes aside, you know, I'm one of those nerds that do believe guitars have souls. And I do, but, you know, you gotta just, the guitar tells you what it needs. You just gotta listen. And they're all different. The guitar is not going to adjust to you. You have to adjust to the guitar, so. But also it's wood. And all wood is different and unique. And some wood expands and contracts a lot when it sits and does nothing. I think a mahogany body with a maple top, because you have disparate woods together, they move. They're different. What's the word I'm looking for? They're different density woods. So the maple, I think, is a much higher density wood than the mahogany body. So at different temperatures, they just have to adjust. You have to play them. In my experience with Gibsons, after about 10 or 15 minutes. Yeah. There it is. So it's, you know, my chest is... That's weird. That's a little sharp. Come on. Yeah, the nut's sticking, so I think I need to give this guitar some love. My number one has no finish in the neck so that it likes to adjust. Yeah, right. No one knows what it's like. God darn it. Now it's going sharp because it's warming up. The wood's expanding. But it's a good Gibson sound, right? Thanks, guys. I normally do this before the show, so... 80s G&L, all mahogany body, ebony fretboards, tone wood debate result. Would you change to different tubes in the new Stone Pony? Well, I won't need to. The JJ7591 sound great. I mean, really good. They just cannot take any voltage. So, excuse me. They couldn't take any voltage. So we would build the amps. They would test fine through our process, which was pretty rigorous. I mean, we beat the daylights out of the amps. And then a month later, the tubes were unhappy. It became untenable. Like, we were just replacing tubes so much. And I would call JJ, and they're like, hey, sorry, what are you going to do? And then the thing about tube manufacturers is they will never take responsibility for bad tubes, right? They'll just say it's your amp. And they all use the same spec sheet from like the 60s. So, like, you know, these companies sell like KT88s that they say will take 700 volts. They won't take 450. They're just using the old spec sheet, because if they tell you what they'll really take safely, they won't sell any tubes. And so they just blame it on you. They just go, well, you need to redesign your amp. Yeah. Haas Thompson's a good analogy. So I like to think of them in terms of cars in that period. They're probably not 100% reliable all the time, but they're way more fun than modern designs, and they just work on their own terms. Yeah, I agree. I have the good fortune of driving a lot of vintage cars, and you know, they don't stop as well, they don't turn as well, and they're not as fast as the Tesla, but I like them a lot more. One of my little side hustles is I'm managing a vintage car collection. I'm a nerd. I know, I get it. So I have a 63 Porsche 356 in the driveway right now, and all I do is manage whatever repairs they need, fluid changes, and put a couple 100 miles on them, take them back. It keeps them alive, so I kind of get to know a lot of these cars. But I always tell people, like, when I was in high school, I had a 67 Mustang convertible, and then I had a 66 GTO for a minute. And yeah, Haas, I'll send you a picture of it. It's black, 356, like show car. It's really gorgeous. But anyway, I had the 67 Mustang convertible. The 289 blew up in it, so I put a 302 in it and hopped it up. Heads were ported and polished. You know, the whole thing. And the thing would snap your neck. And I could spin the rear tires like I was on ice. It was fun, and it made a hell of a good noise. Didn't like to stop, didn't like to turn. Did not have cup holders, did not have heated seats. Did not have a great stereo, did not have a GPS. Didn't have power locks or windows. Very primitive car by today's standards. A lot of fun to drive. Way more fun than driving a Tesla. Teslas are great and they have a lot of horsepower, but they're boring. Yeah, the 930 is a different thing. Yeah, the Widowmaker. Dangerous car. Cute way to die. Yeah, I have some cars, and I manage some vintage cars for a couple of guys, so it's really fun. They know, because I'm a car queer. You guys know my level of analysis with guitars and amps, right? And golf. For you, my friends, you know that I live for playing golf. I don't like golf culture. You know, like that whole cocktails, mulligans. You hear the one about the Catholic and the Negro? I hate that shit. But I love the game. I love hitting the ball. I love the physics of the ball, flying through the air at different temperatures with different wind off of a certain lot. I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I don't like the country club culture. But I'm the same way with cars. It's like my things, you know, like I love old cars. Yeah. I don't know, man. That's like the lowest gain setting. That's a really nice Gibson sound, right? I mean, like if I turn it up, if I crank up the amp on the lowest gain here, I mean, you're getting into like 70s AC/DC sounds. That's how clean they were. Do you hear that? That sound, which a Gretsch will do that really well. But that's kind of the sound of early AC/DC, like, Bon Scott AC/DC. John Dotson asks, good question. Did all of your SoHos have the master voltage circuit? No. Some of them had a master volume. This is a 20 watter, Axel. Some of them had a master volume, which we can convert that if you have one of those, but most of them had a master voltage, like 75, 80%. Rob Price says, amps and guitars are a lot cheaper than cars. Yeah, somewhat. You make a lot more money profit on old cars. So does a golf ball swing like a cricket bat? No, it's a different move. There's a lot of parallels. Oh, you're funny. There's a lot of parallels. It's, you get derive all your power from your legs and your hips. So now I got the volume up a little higher, so I go to the next level of gain. Then we go up to the bump. Whoops. The SoHo, maybe the 165 amps you don't want to modify. Now, I'm talking about like tiny polish elements, Mark Saulnier says, my red SoHo buzzes a little bit when the master is full out, but doesn't back off. Sounds like tubes. If I could look at it, I could fix it for you. Does this have a gain switch instead of a high-low input? It does have a high-low input also. Oops, I dropped the pick. Hold on. All right, scheiße. Oh, new pick. So you got three options here with two buttons on a foot switch. So the one button does this. Oops, let me go back down to the clean. One button does that. And then the other switch does the bump. But you can turn the gain down here and leave the bump on and get a fourth sound. Let's see, let's do middle pickup, roll the neck pickup back a little bit. How's it going? Oh, it's been so long. How big of a mod is it to get the gain switch? I'm not sure what you mean, TJ. The gain switch is on the foot switch or here on the panel. Maybe I'm not understanding what I'm asking. Yeah, there you go. High school cover band songs. Yeah, we all played that. Spent the last year rocking around the way. So yeah. Where is it? There it is. Man, I haven't played that song in a long time. Yours doesn't have one? You mean the gain switch over on the clean side? Oh, yeah, you got a really early one. No, I can't tell you from the serial number if it's a master volume or master voltage. I'm sorry. We didn't have that much foresight when we did it because we're morons. Oh, dude, like it's nothing. The switch costs like $2 and it's, 8 inches of wire or something. If you want to send it to us, we'll just do it. You just got to pay for the shipping. Or if you have a good tech up there, we can show you how to do it. Or if you're comfortable soldering, I don't recommend customers get inside their amps. There's a lot of lethal voltages in an amp, and just because you think you're good with a soldering iron doesn't mean you're smart inside of an amp. Thomas Hinkie, well, how are you, buddy? My 69 Camaro had no stereo or auto, but my Harley does. Oh, yeah, that's right. As a metal guy starting to play a lot of AC/DC, guys want to do covers, play occasions. What are the best choice in amps should I get away from that big 100-watt amps? I like my Recto and Uberschall and some lower watt amps. Which of your amps do you suggest? For AC/DC stuff, gosh, any of them really. This one does great. The Whiskey does really good. Producer EL34. Producer 34. It just depends on what, like, you know, AC/DC is a big word, right? So there's the Bon Scott AC/DC sound, which is more what we're doing here. Even that's too dirty. Like, this is more of the Bon Scott thing. You know. Dumb enough to go into an amp chassis, smart enough to fix it. Ho ho, technically, it's not electrocution unless you die, apparently. Yeah, it's just a shock. Like execution, electrocution. I just don't, it's, you know, like, I don't know you. TJ, you might be brilliant at it. I just cannot recommend doing it yourself. Oh my God, Gibson. This is a new nut too. It's like the third, fourth nut on this guitar. It's a bone nut, handmade. But the guitar has been sitting, so I probably need to lube it up. My fault. Go listen to that record right now. I would rather not try on any of my own. I would definitely get a bad zap. Yeah, there's a lot. There's lethal voltages in here. Like on this, the B plus voltage on this amp is around 350, 360. That's enough to send you to the hospital if you get your fingers. The problem is, you know, when you're working in an amp, you got one hand here and one hand here, and you think, I just need to touch this by accident, and you create a circuit, and it goes through your heart. As someone who's had open heart surgery, I don't recommend it. Thomas says, seems like the tones you get out of the amp are just right on the razor's edge of breakup. I guess that's what I'm going for. Also, yeah, I found out firsthand what a blue cap can do. Yeah, I've been hit hard with voltage before too. I have scars all over my hands. If you could see, the camera's got enough detail. You can see all the little scars on my fingers from getting shocked. Yeah, this amp will get a lot dirtier than this. I like it being right here on the edge. To me, it sounds like rock and roll. To me, AC/DC is a rock and roll band. They're not a rock band. But you can play it dirty. You can hear guys play those songs dirty as crap all the time. It's incorrect. It's not the way the record sounds. It sounds like. You could even go cleaner. It's not that dirty. 100-watt Marshall, those old non-master volume 100-watt Marshalls are not dirty amps. And then, you know, you guys know me, I'm a Chuck Berry guy, so if you can pull off Chuck Berry, it's a good amp, right? Works for me, man. That's some ringy, chimey stuff, though, isn't it? I guess I'm going to have to play my stock and file stuff for showing off guitars, which is, you know... Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. I can't stand an out-of-tune guitar. I got to work on this guitar. My apologies. It's close. Yeah, the nut's sticking. I'm turning this a long way and it's not moving. My fault. Good tone, even tuning up, though, right? Hoss Thompson says, I had a rectifier valve pretty much explode when I tried to take it out a couple of months ago. Basically turned to powder. I guess it had been rode hard and put away wet. Yeah, you had a vacuum leak. That's what happens when you get air in there. And that's what they'll do. You get the idea. A little more dirt, right? That's some chimey stuff, man. Songs you never get tired of. That is in there. I remember when I first learned how to go. I think I hopped around my bedroom in junior high for 2 weeks. Hey, Theo. Yeah, no, this is the 412 Marshall that's on the aux, right? I'm going to be getting the 2 notes in as well. We can do a little comparison here online if you want. I know a lot of guys are using the 2 notes on the road. Yeah. I like that sound right there. That's a good rock and roll rhythm sound. And if you can play guitar, which I know all of you guys can, you wouldn't be here if you couldn't. You don't need a lot more gain than that. Also listening to your tones, I think, is the high mids. Even with my Rivera, I'm just not getting those tones, especially that chime and, yeah, that rock and roll. Getting older really makes me appreciate that tone. Well, thanks, Thomas. Yeah, that's always been my home base. I've never been a super gain guy. You know, I went to Musicians Institute in the 80s, and Eddie Van Halen created this whole culture of guys that wanted to play as dirty as they possibly could, and it just wasn't my thing. I like playing a little dirty for solos, for sure, but most of the music that we all listen to just isn't that dirty. Even modern records, you listen to, the guitars are just not that dirty. It's a lot easier to play with gain. It's less work, for sure. And it does cover up some of your clinkers. But the original songs just weren't that dirty. You know, it just doesn't happen. I'm not even on the dirty channel of this amp, all right? That stuff. I hear bands play that and the guys play so dirty. I'm like, what in the... I don't know what record you listen to, but that's not what it sounds like. I'm an old fart, I guess. And then since our friend Leaptrot here, sorry, I'm blanking on your first name because I'm a schmuck. Mike, we played the same band stuff in high school bands, right? Standby switch on or off when powering off. I always power on or off with the standby switch. You know, it really doesn't matter. There's a lot of really spirited discussions about that. Cutting electricity is cutting the electricity. If there's no electricity, the standby switch is really important for warming up the tubes, right? So when you turn the amp on with the standby on, what you're doing is heating up the tubes without running signal into them. So it's just the heaters. Kind of like warming up your old car. You let it run for a couple of minutes so oil gets through the motor before you put it in gear and take off. Very similar thing, but shutting it off is shutting it off. You know, it doesn't matter. I'm not aware of any benefit. I'm not claiming to be a lecturer here, but made about 5,000 amps and got a little bit of experience. Thomas says, and the two notes are great for the studio. Nothing beats the sound of a cab. Real air. Yeah, that's true. Page is the one that proves for sure that he runs low gain and verb. Yeah, he's got an Echoplex, low gain. And when you do that, you have to use your right hand, and which people are very timid to do because you have to have good target acquisition, right? When you're swinging really hard with your right hand, and when you play really hard, you have to have just very little picks sticking out, right? That's all I have sticking out, just a tiny bit. So you have to have pretty good aim. But it comes with practice. It's not hard. You just got to go for it. You have to be willing to sound bad to get better. You know, I gave guitar lessons a long time to people, and I would tell them, like, it's okay. You sound like shit along the way. Everyone does. Haas Thompson says, most songs rely on dynamics rather than amp gain to kick it up. Yeah, right. I like to call it the Murray Van Beethoven effect. It's not Ludwig Van Beethoven. It's his brother Murray. You've met Murray. Short guy. Balding. It's really nice. But we were doing what Rocky Mountain Way a minute ago, and that's not that dirty either. I can't do the slide part without a slide. But, my veterinary radiology friend, I assume you're in Holland, looking at the way your name is spelled. People love to argue on the internet. These things just aren't that fragile. Like Vox AC30s don't have a standby switch. The JMI AC30s, they don't have a standby switch. They're fine. You know, people, I don't know. This is going to sound snobby, and please don't take it this way. I honestly don't have a snobby bone in my body. But I put groceries on the table with a guitar for over a decade. I paid my rent with my guitar and my amp for over a decade. I started an amp company. We made thousands of amps by hand. They're all handmade amps. None of this stuff is worth arguing about. It just doesn't matter. Nothing's that sensitive. If you have an amp that falls apart because you don't hit standby when you turn it off, that's a very poorly made amp. You know, it's just not necessary. It doesn't make any difference. There might be some engineer propeller head guy who sat down with a scope and figured out there's a 0.001% difference. Phil Hadaway, hey Dan, still love my SoHo. Oh, right on. And it still loves you, Phil. There might be some measurable difference. Not going to affect your life. Definitely not worth arguing about. Do not argue with people about stupid stuff, right? So, got a lot of vocabulary here. It's 1 o'clock already. Holy moly. So good question here. Theo Van Neal Jr. says, what about waiting for the tubes to cool down before transporting the amp? That is something to worry about if you're in a cold climate. I have been playing in Minnesota in the wintertime, play in Ontario, Canada in the wintertime, and take a steaming hot amp and run out to the truck with it and crack tubes. So it's 4 o'clock there. Well, good, man. I wish it was 4 o'clock here. But they cool down pretty quickly. Like if you just wait a few minutes, you're okay. If they're warm, it's fine. Doesn't matter. If they're smoking hot, like you just were red plating tubes playing a big old gig with your 100-watt Marshall and there's steam coming out of the back of the amp, yeah, give it a minute. It's, again, not real crucial. Most amps are going to be fine. Most tubes are going to be, it's the extreme temperature change. Just like, you know, you've probably done it by accident, like pull a glass out of the dishwasher when it's really super hot and you pull it out into the cool air and it cracks. You know, same kind of thing. Oh, no, that's a good argument, Haas. That's a good point. Argue about pineapple on pizza being an abomination under the earth. It is. It's an insult to God. I don't know. I don't even, you know, I'm not really religious, but yeah, pineapple chicken on pizza. No, you don't do that. No. That's like putting ketchup on steak, man. Like, I know people like it. Actually, I confess, I love a Hawaiian pizza. So with the ham, you know, Canadian bacon or ham. Ooh, I'm salivating. I'm hungry. It's time for lunch. But yeah, that's a whole different discussion. We can get into that next week if you like. No, actually, I'm fine with pineapple on pizza. I don't think anyone in Italy does that. Just like we have things here that people don't eat in Mexico, and people think it's Mexican food. Like no one in Mexico puts sour cream on their food, just so you know. That's completely gringo stuff, right? Literally, it's like putting ketchup on steak. When Mexicans see you do that, they're just like, oh, Jesus, what's wrong with this guy, right? You know, I live in a city that was actually in Mexico for 300 years before white people discovered it. I know, I'm sorry to keep playing the same stuff over again. They're just good songs to demo the amp with. I want you to focus on the amp, not me, right? Awesome, funny. Queso fresco. Yes, that's right. You use queso fresco. You know, I mean, like Coke without sugar. Actually, I drink Diet Coke. Oh, sorry. I'm too old to down that much sugar. However, there's two different kinds of Coke, right? There's the kind with corn syrup in it, which is, I think the technical term is urine. And then there's the Mexican Coke, which has actual cane sugar in it. And you can get the Mexican Coke here in LA. Actually, you can get it in most California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, along the border. And it's so much better. Especially if you're making a little cocktail, a little drinky poo. Man, it tastes way better than the corn syrup shit. Anyway, knock it off here in a second, huh? Yes, Mexican Coke does come in a glass bottle, right? Not in a plastic bottle. Makes a difference. It's like what we all drank when we were kids. At least I did. I'm probably older than some of you guys, but you know those machines where you pulled the bottle out through the little pinchers? They were so hard to get out. Glass bottle Cokes. This is for Mike Leaptrot. Did you hear that twang in there? That's what a Les Paul actually sounds like. Most people play them with so much dirt. That's what a Les Paul does. They sound great. Oh, I'm out of tune. I will get this guitar in better shape. I apologize now. Long Cool Woman. Yeah, that works. Hang on a second. I'm going to use the tuner again. I'm so sorry. I sincerely apologize. There's my neglect of this guitar. It has bad ownership, and I am sincerely embarrassed. Let's see, how's that opening riff go? A little echo would be great on this, right? And reverb. Actually, let's go down to cleaner. Who can sing that high? Yeah, that's it. That's the sound. Good call, Doug Robert. Saturday night, I was downtown. I cannot even fake it. Working for the FBI. Anyway, that's the sound. That's it. If you would like to purchase this amp, it's a good price. You can get a hold of me. My email address is right there. You can message me on Facebook. You can message me on Instagram. The Dutch is right. All right. Dankjewel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube channels. My email's the best. I answer emails. I try, at least. I will take care of this guitar. I like this guitar. It's different from strings and some love. So, remember, those are the three sounds, but you can leave the gain down at the beginning and then turn the bump on. You got a fourth sound. Let's call it a day. Anyway, thank you guys for coming out. We had a bigger audience today. I can see the numbers up here on my screen. It's really nice. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm trying to get away where the comments show up on the screen. Apparently, StreamYard doesn't do that, and I paid for an annual subscription to get the discount. So I'm going to see. Have a good one, Axel. You too, buddy. Again, this segment has been brought to you by Titleist and their new GT driver. We have a fit for each one of you, no matter how crappy your swing is. Cheers, nerd, says Bob Barris. Anyway, all jokes aside, Axel. Yeah, the GT drivers are amazing. I'm telling you, I could we could try them out here on the show. We could do the musicians playing golf and, drinking beer in a golf cart. Curtis Wright says, sounds really good. Oh, thanks, man. Sorry, I was just now able to join in. I hate to do this. I got to be short and take off. You can watch the recording on Facebook, on my Facebook page, the 65 Amps Facebook page, or on my YouTube channel or the 65 Amps YouTube channel. So the 65 Amps YouTube channel, just so you guys know, thanks, Hoss, you too, brother, got over 30,000 followers now. So I'm actually getting solicited to sell ad space on there. I don't want to do that yet. But it would help fund our projects. And I wish I could tell you everything that's going on with our project. I had some major forward developments this week, and I'm really excited about it. Once I get everything nailed down, there's some intellectual property I need to apply for and stuff. So once I get that done, I'm really excited to share it with you. And then I'm hoping to get a proof of concept amp happening before the end of the year. I'm hoping I can do it Stone Pony. But anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate your time. I know it's not free or cheap. So I'm grateful that you wasted some of it with me. I'll see you next week and we'll talk more guitar stuff. This SoHo is for sale. Good price. Can't mention the price here on the show or the algorithm picks it up and wants to give me a hard time. So, but it is for sale and it's a very nice price. And I'd be happy to sell it to you. All right. Love you guys. Take care and we'll see you next week. All righty.